I'm hoping we'll finish this today. It's been a long time coming. It's been pleasurable for me as well, but it's been a long time. We've been starting this since the start of the year. I was so hyped up when I created it. I was like, but now I'm towards the end of it. I feel like I'm at the end of the 3 Peaks challenge now. It's like, once in my lifetime, that's fine. Already somebody was on the new Bhakti Life course. They were like, oh yeah, this is great. Are you going to do this course again? I was like, look, relax. It's just done now. Done, buried. Who knows if it will happen again in this lifetime. All right, so last time, we got to this from verse 40 to 41. I'm just going to quickly give you a quick recap. This was the verse, 41. Queen Kunti here is saying something very radical. She's saying, sever the tie of my affection for the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. Vrishnis is the dynasty that she's coming from, hailing from. The Pandavas basically means her own husband, Pandu, and especially the living sons, which includes Arjun. And we spoke a bit about this purport here. She's thinking this understanding of bodily connection with my family members, that may also be getting in the way of my connection with you, my affection for you, my service mentality for you. So we spoke about this. So then we looked at a little bit about the logic behind what Queen Kunti is saying. We went to this diagram here. We all have attachments in life. Queen Kunti was saying the same thing. I'm just a simple lady, a mother. I'm attached to my children. And therefore she does her prayers, her verses, and then it comes across Krishnaya Vasudevaya. Therefore start chanting the holy names, and that will purify you. Then she goes from that to focusing on Krishna's lotus-like form. From that, she gets advancement, saying she could understand how she's been trying to own it and lord it over things. She sees Krishna's hand behind all the major incidents in her life. Whereas normally you may see Krishna or you may not see Krishna, she's seen Krishna saving her and her family all the time. Every dot, Krishna's the one that's behind that dot. So she sees it, and then she expresses a gratitude for that. As a result of that, she's saying not only Krishna's there in my life, but Krishna's been in the life of many people in the form of coming down and doing his leelas. So she starts speaking about the different leelas. And one of the most loving leelas is the Damodar leela. We spoke a little bit about that a few weeks ago. And he comes in many forms because devotees have different needs. And then she concluded the sole purpose that Krishna comes for, or you can say the greatest purpose is for compassion, so that everyone could benefit. Everyone then, everyone in the future, and even in the past, as the cycle repeats from Satyug all the way to Kali Yuga and back to Satyug again. We're kind of back to the future, if you can kind of see. So everyone benefits perpetually if Krishna comes and his leelas are recorded and somehow are transmitted to us. So she's thinking like this, so therefore you can see, unless we break free of attachments, we can't get into all of these realizations actually. When devotees say they've got realizations, but they've got heavy attachments, you have to take it with a tablespoon of salt, even within ourselves, that we have attachments like mini breakthroughs, but they're not a deep not a deep breakthrough or a deep realization. Because if you had a deep realization, that means you've broken through. You're looking at that past thing, thinking, forget that, never again. So we're getting some, you could say, it's semantics, like some illumination, rather than a deep realization. Does that make sense? Some understanding about our conditioning and how attached we are and how far we have to go to get through those attachments. But that's also good as well. Yeah, and we shouldn't discredit that. Then from that, we went to this slide, and I think we finished on this slide here. We spoke about, do you recall in this picture, at the start of the Bhagavad Gita being spoken, Arjun says to Krishna, please take me in the middle of the two armies. He takes them right there and in front of two personalities. Who were the two personalities again? Bhishma and Drona, and what did they represent? Body attachment, especially like for family members with Bhishma, because he's the grandsire, the grandfather. And Dronacharya is like the family teacher as well. So we tend to have affection on a more subtly deeper level for these two things. Family members or family connections, and friends and teachers of material logic, material information, material wisdom. Because materially, when for example, if in a slightly different way, now I like metaphors, allegories, poetry, But it's only until I came across a certain English teacher that I thought, wow. Before that, I was just into maths and science and stuff like that, and he opened up a whole world. And for a few moments, I could understand Shakespeare. I thought, okay, he's not trash. He's actually got something there going on there, like, you know. And I had to thank my teacher for it. In the same way, so many teachers have taught us many things that have helped us, and therefore, it almost seems like we're eternally indebted to them and grateful to them. So there's an affection there. But that's only at the material level. At the material level, they're also binding us and we're binding them. But we give our heart to these categories of people. Does that make sense? So you could say I'm grossly attached to money and sex and all of these things, but on a subtle level, these things are even more stronger. Because these things and these people we're willing to die for, we're willing to sacrifice a lot of things for. And like I said, society even glorifies somebody who gives up even their life for these things. They're like, you know, they're given medals and honors and plaques and eulogies, like, you know, even after they die. So it's considered a very honorable thing, a noble thing. But from a spiritual point of view, it can be a blockade if you don't see it in the right way, which is kind of what I was alluding to at the end. Yeah? So we spoke about, yeah, Nish?
No, it's just agree.
Oh, okay. At least somebody agrees, that's good. Okay. And then we spoke about here, this verse from the Mahabharata, that there's a hierarchy in terms of relationships and nobility, in terms of sacrifice. So the idea is we can have goals to love our friends and family and work, but we have to understand in our life there's a hierarchy of goals. The highest goal being connection, servitude, love for Krishna, and then you could have your lower goals in relationship to that. But the problem is if we're trying to put the lower goals on the same pedestal as the highest goal, then that becomes a hindrance for achieving the highest goal. And that's what the problem is. That's where the issue is. So we kind of said this, I sent that message out last week, that love for Krishna includes love for everyone. Okay? But independent love for anything or anyone prevents us from completely trusting Krishna, what to speak of loving him. If you don't see your love for whatever you have in the world in the background of Krishna's love, you just focus on the love of that thing, for that person, then actually you can't see Krishna's hand in it. You can't develop love for Krishna. I gave this example at the Sacred Lounge the other day, yesterday, that, and I've given it here, but in a slightly different context. Say if you're in the ocean drowning and you come across a float and you hold on to that float for dear life because it keeps you afloat. And now you're dependent on that float. You're very grateful that float has kept you alive. But then what happens is the boat comes, and the boat, you know, if you jump on the boat, you'll be saved for good. But you think, I don't want to leave this float behind. And this float's done so many things for me. And maybe I could survive with just a float. Ridiculous, right? But actually, that's our psychology in this material world. That, you know, this person has kept me afloat in my deepest, darkest times. Or it might be Netflix, or it might be computer games, it might be X to the Z exhibit songs, or whatever it might be, okay, has kept me going, has been my float. But you know that float that was thrown to you came from the boat originally. In the same way, because of our karma, Krishna has thrown us the different floats in our lives. But again, our affection, our trust for the float is there independently of seeing where it came from. That's Krishna. Because of that, we miss the boat. We don't think we need the boat. We think the float will save us. That's foolish. Make sense? So it sounds like a bit of primary school level poetry, like something that Kushbu deals with. But don't mistake the float for the boat, okay?
I'm going to use this in my assembly.
Yeah, no, I think it's, for them, it's age appropriate. That's what we're doing. We're putting so much faith in the float independently of the boat. Putting so much faith in our karmic abilities and what karma throws out to us independently from Krishna, that's why we miss Krishna. We have to see it always in connection with the ultimate cause, the absolute cause, which is Krishna. Is Krishna throwing out anything and everything to us that we used to float during our good times and especially our difficult times? It's coming from that boat. It's been thrown by the captain of that boat. Yeah? Make sense? Okay, goody two shoes. Let's carry on then. So we kind of finished on here. All right, let's go. Oh yeah, so this is the point I was gonna, yeah, we didn't do this slide last time, isn't it? So Queen Kunti, you can imagine, she's one of the highest spiritual practitioners in this universe, but obviously ultimately outside of this universe as well. But at this point, when she's revealed her heart to Krishna and she's thinking Krishna's still going to leave, she's now looking deep within her heart. Okay? And she's realizing maybe that I've got some material attachment for kith and kin, for my family, for my children especially, and maybe that's blocking my relationship with Krishna. I'm praying that Krishna will stay here, but what about the pure devotees in Dwaraka? My affection for me and my sons is stopping Krishna from going back to his homeland. So she starts thinking, maybe this ain't pure devotional service, which is amazing to think like that, right? So at some point, we also need to look into our desires in our heart and think, I'm praying to Krishna for many things. Am I praying for it for pure devotional service? Are my desires actually getting in the way of pure devotional service? Are my desires a hindrance to other devotees? We have to start thinking about these things as well. So I've got a few verses here that are looking at attachments, connections in a slightly different way, and then we'll kind of conclude this bit and go to the next topic. Okay, can someone read this out? This is from one of the wisdom texts of the Vedic canon. Someone can read this?
Only petty people always divide the world into friends and foes. To open-minded people, the whole world is one family. From the Hitopadesa 1.71.
Yeah, so actually remember, we're all spirit souls. We're all part of the same family. It's just because of our karma, we're seeing people around us as friends and family, and we've been chopping and changing that every single decade of our life, and we've been chopping and changing that every single lifetime. We now in this lifetime, coming across this wisdom, have to realize that is just purely material vision that's keeping me drowned in life after life. Okay, these lot have been allocated as my family and friends, that's cool, I still love them, that's part of my duty, but that's just my float that's been thrown to me. Make sense? It could have been anyone else. I wasn't in control of that. This is just my allotment. That's all it is. Yeah? Make sense? Okay, something else? Let's read the second one. Somebody else could read this one out. This is from the purport. Someone in this room? Vidya, I can't ask your friend. He's in the other room. You could read it, yeah? You read it. Vrishnis, yeah.
Vrishnis are the members of her paternal family. Krishna was equally related to both families. Both families required the Lord's help because both were dependent devotees of the Lord. Srimati Kunti Devi wished Sri Krishna to remain with her sons, the Pandavas, but by his doing so, her paternal house would bereft of the benefit. All of these partialities troubled the mind of Kunti, and therefore she decided to cut off the affectionate tie.
So she's thinking maybe I'm being a bit selfish or self-centered, potentially. Okay? She's thinking maybe that's not what's pleasing Krishna. All right, next one here. Last bit. Who would like to read this out?
Srimati Kunti Devi was conscious of this fact, and being weak, she prayed to be free from such bondage of family affection. The Lord is addressed as the Lord of the universe, or the Lord of the universal mind, indicating his all-powerful ability to cut the hard knot of family affection. Therefore, it is sometimes experienced that the Lord, out of his special affinity towards a weak devotee, breaks the family affection by force of circumstances arranged by his all-powerful energy. By doing so, he causes the devotee to become completely dependent on him, and thus clears the path for his going back to Godhead.
Okay, so what's quite interesting about this is going back to Queen Kunti, even if she's realizing that perhaps the way I see my sons, even if they are devotees, is I've got an affection for them based on the material level. She's understanding that even though I understand that, I can't uproot that desire or that attachment or that misunderstanding by myself. This thing only Krishna could remove or spiritualize. Yeah? So therefore she's begging Krishna to look into this. If this is the last thing, the last subtle attachment that separated me between me and you, getting in the way between me and you, Krishna, you please look into it. You please do something about it. Okay? Otherwise, I can't get all the way to you. So I could feel the heaviness in the room. Don't worry about it. We're gonna reconcile all of these things soon. All right. Okay, why have I put this like this? Okay, no problem. Maybe we're concluding this bit. So here, what Queen Kunti is essentially doing is praying for a purified heart. And in praying for a purified heart, that's actually demonstrating that she's actually very pure. Someone who's got a purified heart, they don't really understand that they are fully pure. That's a symptom of someone who is pure. Someone who's pure is never thinking that they're pure. Okay? They're not reveling in it and eating up and becoming, absorbed in self-talk. It's not like they just do this and stop chanting Krishna's names. Is they always feel disqualified in front of Krishna and the devotees. That is their purity. Okay? And it's not fake. It's not imitated. That's just the way they feel. So what Queen Kunti is doing now is thinking, actually, my heart is divided. In one of the retreats that we did, maybe it was in Nampantan Hall. I don't know if you went to that one, Shanice. I got you guys to draw a massive heart on a piece of paper. And I said, basically, whatever's in your heart, whatever you're most attached to, whatever you care about, just draw it in this heart. And then I gave them 10 minutes and, they had felt tip pens and all the rest of it. And they all drew their hearts. What was interesting in the group, none of them drew Krishna. None of them drew Krishna. And I also wasn't planning it, trying to hypnotize them. I had something in mind. I was hoping it would work out that way. Maybe Krishna knew and he sanctioned it. But not any of them, not even one of them, even the ones that have been around for a long time, drew Krishna. And I said, this is the problem. All of these things are in our heart. We have a divided heart. Yet by the end of this life, we want to have undivided, unconditional, relentless love for Krishna. And so I said, it doesn't matter if all of these things are in your heart, because of our previous lives, we've engineered ourselves to want these floats. But you have to carve Krishna in there. You have to draw Krishna in the middle of it and see how Krishna is giving you all of these things, and Krishna is in the middle of everything. That is our job. And maybe that was what I was trying to do in the retreat as well. But it helped because when they saw it and they drew it themselves, they could understand what the problem is. Up until now, we think, okay, yeah, no, I got it. Theoretically, I got it. But actually, that was the time you could have drawn anything. What you drew was really what was on your mind and in your heart, right? So Queen Kunti is thinking that's how pure she is. She's got Krishna there. She could see Krishna. She could speak to Krishna. She could beg Krishna. She could pray Krishna. She sees Krishna many times, actually. We read in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But at that time, she's thinking, maybe my heart is divided. There's some duality there because I've got ulterior motives and interests in wanting Krishna around me. I don't want that Krishna. I just want you in my heart. Yeah? So maybe all of this has arisen because of bodily identification. Now, like I mentioned last week, the question is, but Arjun is a pure devotee. Yudhisthira is a pure devotee. All the Pandavas, they're pure devotees. Krishna himself gave them darshan, came to save them, embraced them. What more can you do or be if that's not symptomatic of pure devotee? So isn't she wrong in doing this? So, I had a few things I wanted to do, but I also want to finish today. So, I had an exercise, but let's just leave the exercise for now. Let's just try and finish this today, and then if there's time, we could do it at the end. Okay, so what she's getting at is basically if there are any material bonds in that relationship at all, if there's even a 5% chance that within this spiritual relationship between her and her sons, and she sees them as spirit souls, and she sees them as devotees, and vice versa, even if there's an element of these are my sons materially, and that's getting in the way, that body identification, she just wants that to be stripped. Yeah? Even like something as simple as that. So again, just displaying a natural humility. So what does that mean? We're going to go now from 41 to 42. She's going to now clarify what she was praying for by speaking this famous verse. I think, Manisha, you wanted to recite this verse, right, or not? It would be. Okay, so thank you for reciting it for us. Do you want to recite the Sanskrit? Huh?
You just said it. You said it would be nice. Not in Sanskrit.
Yeah, it would be nice. Go, Manisha, go.
No, you've been waiting for this time. You've been telling me for many weeks you wanted to recite. Okay, so get the book out and start reciting it then.
I don't know it. I want you to read. Is that
Oh,
all right?
she wants many things, basically.
This is such a nice verse, though. It'd be nice to.
You're kind of going back and forth. Why don't you recite it?
I don't know it in Sanskrit.
No, you've got
Start with the English, innit?
Start with the English?
and you can do the Sanskrit, fair?
Okay, you could do Manisha. You've turned into the boss here. Even somebody just left the room. They were so annoyed with you. Okay, with you.
The Ganges River flows to the sea without hindrance.
Okay, so let's get this verse out. It's a very famous verse, Twaime Nanya Vishaya. If you go to 42, excuse me, so 1.8.42, you could go to Vedabase if you haven't got a book. So I was saying to Manisha many weeks ago, there's a few verses you can learn from here. That's nice. The one is the one I've recommended to you. And then, Manisha, have you learnt that verse?
This one.
No, we know this one. You've said 5 times already. You don't know this one. Yeah, more than that line. You've learnt the other 3 lines. You have, okay. So the one after that, I think, Nama Pankaj Nabaya, like Krishna's features are all like lotuses. That's very easy to learn. This one's a bit more difficult to learn, but it's very beautiful. So yeah, you can see here, just like he's making this example, the Ganges is always flowing to the sea. Doesn't matter how many rocks and obstacles and what people throw into it, the Ganges can't ever be derailed from that direction. So actually what Queen Kunti is praying for is let my focus, my consciousness, my attraction be constantly drawn to you despite whatever comes into my life. That's actually what she's praying for. Yeah? Not that she doesn't have any family members. Not that she takes sannyas and goes to the forest and everyone who she loved dies. She's not praying for that. She's praying for actually my flow of love should go to you constantly. It should never be divided. There shouldn't be multiple streams going in different directions.
But then by saying that, is it not like basically saying the other thing but without saying it?
We could interpret it like that, but the Acharya say no, that's what it's meant to be interpreted as. She's worried that actually my affection for my sons is taking me away from your interest. But this is basically what she's getting at. This is what I want to happen. Yeah? So we could recite it together if you want. Manisha, do you want?
You lead.
Okay. Okay, shall we go for it? Everyone's got it on their phone? Or you could sit next to someone who doesn't have it? Or if you're not bothered, you're not bothered. What can you do? It's the last set. If you're not bothered by now, there's no hope in this lifetime. You know, forget about it. Or don't forget about it. Don't forget about it. Try. But yeah, there's no hope at the same time for you. Okay, ready? Everyone's ready? Yeah, everyone's got access to it? You got access to Wi-Fi and technology and stuff like that? Yeah? Yeah? Everyone's like, no one's saying anything. Have you got it? Yeah? Okay. So maybe if I do one line at a time. Is that okay, Manisha? Twaime Nanya Vishaya. So that V is like a W, yeah? Twaime Nanya Vishaya. Mate Madhu Pate Sakrit. Mate Madhu Pate Sakrit. Ratim Udva Hatad Adha. Ratim Udva Hatad Adha. Gange Vogam Udanvati. Gange Vogam Udanvati. I'll just do it one more time, you can follow me. Twaime Nanya Vishaya. Mate Madhu Pate Sakrit. Ratim Udva Hatad Adha. Gange Vogam Udanvati. Okay, so let's just read it again. O Lord of Madhu. No, I could do this myself. As the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, otherwise it feels like there's an echo. Let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. So she's not desiring freedom from material attachment per se. Rather, the focus is continuous, undivided, unclouded devotion to Krishna. Yeah, can you see the difference? That's what she's after. So what points did I put here? Yeah, so she's clarifying her desire. This is back to basically what the goal is. In other spiritual movements or other types of yoga, the goal may be disentanglement, a loss of attraction, a loss of attachment, dry renunciation. That's not what we're praying for. That's not what we want. Whether we get attachment or we get renunciation, that's by the by. We're wanting our love for Krishna to flow to him always, like the Ganga is going always towards the sea. Ganga is going always towards the sea no matter what obstacles are there. Whether it's raining, whether there's drought, whether there's rocks, whether there's a tree falling over it, whatever it is, the Ganga is always flowing. That's basically what the aim is of Krishna consciousness. And like I was saying yesterday in Sacred Lounge, whatever Krishna throws or takes out of our flow, that Krishna knows what's best for us, according to how we've engineered our life and what our path is in this lifetime. So I was saying to the crowd yesterday, we need to win the race, but winning the race means to get off the race track. Ultimately to lose your desire to be in the racing world and go back to Krishna's world. So to win, whether Krishna makes us do that race and finish first, second, fifth, last, or break down many times, or break down permanently, that is what Krishna knows for us will allow us to win the race in that lifetime. Yeah? Make sense? Yeah, I told you that talk's a bad boy talk. You wait, okay, it's coming, it's coming. Okay, so may you be the first priority, and may in fact all priorities lead towards you and your lotus feet. Somehow let that be the case. Whenever I see my partner, my children, let me see that in the background of your love for me, that I love them because you gave that ability for me to love them. Therefore it's your love for me. And if they're no longer there, that's also your love for me because you want to see beyond the temporary nature of this world. Beyond the cloud, there is the sun. I'm getting so focused on the cloud, not realizing there's a reality beyond the cloud. So you put it there and you take it away at different times. Yeah?
Those that follow Ashtanga Yoga.
Yes. Oh, was that a question? Or?
The question is, do they follow it because it's so difficult to unattach yourself to everything that's around you? So
it could be a few reasons. Like generally speaking, for someone who's really an advanced Ashtanga yogi, they've been doing it for many lifetimes, so they're naturally drawn to it. Initially they do it because, I don't know if you remember, it's been a while, the yoga ladder, they may only know about absolute truth in terms of Brahma Jyoti. So they understand actually I've got to leave society, I've got to meditate, and they either might reach Brahma Jyoti or Paramatma realization. And from that, if they want to go towards bhakti, they do. If not, they go towards Brahma Jyoti. So it depends on what they want. They understand that material life is futile, there's many difficulties in material life, so therefore let me leave material life, meditate, read the Upanishads, and like that they start meditating and going further and further into it. But yeah, in Kali Yuga it's impossible from a Ashtanga Yoga point of view. At least that's what Arjun says in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so this last point here, if you remember from a few slides ago, a few verses ago, Queen Kunti is saying, actually, people aren't looking for your darshan, they're looking for darshan from the things and the people of this world. If there's anything like that within me, even one trace of it, I want you to remove it. Okay? Any attachments that's haunting me, make them impotent. Make them be powerless, okay? So that none of these things would ultimately stop me. If anything, they may expedite the journey. They might quicken the journey. Just like, sometimes you get obstacles that makes the river go up and then it goes down. May be like that for me. Yeah? If you remember that infamous verse, all of these calamities, let them keep coming so long as I get darshan of you. If I get darshan of you, I don't get darshan of samsara. Yeah? So let that current flow to you fast, whatever is required. If it means putting an obstacle in a certain way or taking away, it's up to you, you know best. But from my point of view, the obstacle is there because I wanted it. From a material point of view, I don't want that thing now, in that way. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah, none of you are saying anything today.
You can really take that and see what appears to be misfortunes in your life into a positive with that.
Yeah, 100%.
Speaking personally here, that has changed it. When I get certain things that appear to on face value be negative happen to me in my life, I now actively think that that's probably
try and join the
Krishna
dots.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, thank you for sharing that. 807. God, I'm just thinking about whether to do this exercise here or not. Yeah, let's just do it. So I think let's just do that thing with the heart. Or you don't need to draw out a heart, but maybe on a piece of paper on your phone, I want you to think of all the things that are closest to your heart, to your mind, however you want it to, to phrase it. And then I want you to look at all of these things and think about how you could put Krishna in the picture, like literally, figuratively, but how you could connect the dots and see Krishna within that attachment. Is that okay? And the way you do it, it may be different for different people because we're all wired differently. So firstly, what I want you to do is spend 30 seconds to a minute writing all the things that you're attached to that's very central in your heart, not in the periphery. It might be goals, ambitions, people that you love, your career, it might be poetry, it might be music, whatever it is. Just write down at least 10 or 20 things. We all have something like that. And then in the next 2 minutes, put Krishna next to each of them and think, how can I see this thing in relationship to Krishna? It might be difficult, it might be easy, but just bear with me and try it out and then see if you could connect everything into reminding you of Krishna. Krishna is the one that's throwing you that floats. Okay? So how can you see it? How can it connect you back to Krishna? Otherwise, we'll never want this undivided desire. We'll always want a wall between us and Krishna. Yeah? Is that okay? So we could do that for about 2 or 3 minutes. So first list all your desires, your aims, your ambitions, all the things that you think is very important for you to achieve in this life. And then I want you to see how you could see through that to Krishna.
Yeah, I've got a collection of all. I've got all of them.
Okay, if you want to speak about it, that's also fine as well. No issue. I'm not going to limit you today because I ain't got time, okay?
I've got all the games. They're all still shrinking up there. That's the problem. Yeah.
You should kittens like yours and then like PS parties as well, man.
It's a shop in my house, literally. It's a place. It's a game.
Oh, you got a steering wheel?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Gran Turismo. 7.
Oh my God! Why do you call him Manzarden?
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. It's the cheapest one. But yeah, I got one of them.
Oh, nice.
That's what I mean. But
Right.
how do I push the?
You play kitten whilst you're playing it, innit? Literally, all I do now, I got these little headphones. Recently, I bought them Skull Candy like big.
Nice.
They like vibrate. Yeah, so they vibrate. So like it seems like it gives you like a proper beeline and like it's like, it sounds sick, man. So now I'm just like always either got these on or got them on. I'm just always listening to kitten, innit?
Yeah.
So when I went yard and
When you play like.
well, I don't play like, computer anymore, innit? No, I don't play computer anymore, innit? But like I was saying, like throughout the day, whatever I'm doing, I've pretty much always got a
I can't remember what else I like.
yeah, maybe you can just have like go like next to you, like cheering you on or something, innit? I don't know.
Cheering my character on to beat up the other character. Yeah. While I play GTA 5.
When's that GTA 6 called?
Later this year.
Is it?
Yeah.
That does look a bit sick.
Yeah.
Okay, just getting feedback. Is this exercise substantial or not? Yeah, okay, yeah, Kushbu.
We did it in Scotland, not in Manchester, and I did.
You did.
Because she printed it out and I showed it to
Oh, was it in Scotland?
it was Scotland.
Okay, what did we do in Nunpunton? Okay, maybe we did something in Nunpunton, something different. Okay, but you wanted to say you did it. Did you whisper it when I asked, like, did anyone...
You actually looked at it as well. You're like, oh, that peacock is a bit wonky. That's what you said to me.
Okay. You couldn't draw Krishna, but you got the peacock in there. Okay, good. All right, excellent. All right, any thoughts, like, even if you didn't manage to finish that, can you, doing that, visualizing that, what came to mind? Yep, Liam.
So maybe some of the things that I find there's like quite a tangible relationship or a way that I could dovetail in, but then there's also things that I struggle to see that connection.
The things that you struggle to see the connection, is there like something you could do in time to either... So there's going to be some genuine things that we've engineered to get between us and Krishna, because that's what we've been doing lifetime after lifetime. So with those attachments, depending on whether they're dharmic or adharmic, then we need to look and see how can we utilize this in Krishna's service, or how can we at least be reminded about our weakness through this and then pray to Krishna to overcome this thing, like Queen Kunti is doing. Yeah? So we could use that, almost that desire, the strength of the desire for something that's adharmic, and say to Krishna, you please take the strength of this desire. That's the only thing I could offer you to do with this desire. I can't see any other way to spiritualize this desire. Yeah? Okay, anyone else? Who thought, you know what, there's so many things in my heart apart from Krishna? Yeah? It's good to start off with that feeling. Sometimes you get these sort of different types of realizations, and I don't get many, but when I do get them, they're good. They're like, I have to say, wow, that's quite a revelation. So I was discussing with someone who's finding it difficult to come, like, to programs. And I was saying, this is just basically how you've engineered your life for many lifetimes. There's a reason why you can't make it here. You're thinking because it's X, Y, and Z. It's because you've engineered your subtle body to prioritize other things apart from this. Practically speaking, when you know this is the only thing that will save you, still you're trying to jeopardize your chances. Why? Because that's what we've engineered ourselves to do. It shouldn't even be a surprise anymore. Therefore, you need some fail-safe measures, checks, system to overcome that no matter what. That lifestyle is just also indicative of when we chant japa, how many times the mind goes away. It's literally a microcosm of our lifestyle. So even if you have resistance to even want to chant, we can't be surprised at that. We don't even want to come to Sangha. We don't even want to do service. Why? Because that's what we've engineered ourselves to do. It's that deep that when you hear it, when you see things, when you hear other people remembering their last life, still for you it's like, yeah, anyway, it's about this life. Because we've engineered it to be like that. So we've got to work that much harder to overcome it. To put Krishna somehow in the center of one of the attachments. Make some step and then it will become easier. Yeah? Okay, anyone else? Anything else they want to share? To do with that exercise? Any thoughts? Vidya, anything from you? Yes, I know. Come, share them. What do you want to share?
Okay, so things that I'm attached to, and I'll just say how I can try and bring Krishna into family. So I'll talk about Krishna's leelas, go to events with like Janmashtami, grow flowers and tulsi plant, which isn't really going that well, but I'll get them to like, water and stuff. So
Okay, so how to involve them. Just on that one with family, what about just perspective? Just if you were to say if none of them wanted to get involved and you can't give them Krishna, maybe you could give them prasadam, but that's it. What about in terms of perspective from family members? Just taking a step back and looking, my mum, my dad, my brothers and sisters, my nephews, how are you going to change the way you see them? So that it could be connected spiritually.
you see them as people who are in your life for a reason,
Yes.
and you're grateful for that, but you don't sort of rely on them or let them get in the way of your worship.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of like the thing I'm thinking about, yeah? So see them as spirit souls. They're on their own journey. They got lost just like you've got lost. And you just happen to be with that collection of family members, that collection of souls, and it's been different in different lifetimes. So therefore, this is my mother, but who is the real mother? This is my father, but who is the real father? Who is their real mother? Who is their real father? And ultimately, we want each other's well-being, but that's being misguided as well. So every so often, we need to take a step back and look at things ontologically, actually in terms of reality, perspective. And in that way, we could understand, Krishna, you've loaned these souls to me because of my karmic needs, and vice versa. So I'm connecting the float, to the captain in the boat. Every so often, you just got to take a step back and think, I'm taking these things so seriously, and I should do it dharmically. But that dharma should lead to Krishna's lotus feet. Leading to Krishna's lotus feet means serving Krishna, thinking of Krishna, but also how Krishna saved me. So actually my family saved me in so many ways. Why? Because Krishna's loaned them to me. If the captain didn't throw out that float at that time, I would have drowned. Does that make sense? So that's how we connect it, yeah? Okay, good. Anyone else? Anything that was easy, difficult, or any realizations from doing that exercise? Yeah, Avni? No? No? You want to say something?
No,
Okay. Manisha, you want to say something? I could tell you guys want to say something, so why don't you say it?
We were just saying we find it quite difficult.
Okay, so why don't you say that then?
That was, yeah.
Okay, why did you find it difficult? Vidya's only just joined us recently. She's like got about 50 different answers there. Why are you finding it so difficult?
I'm not sure, I just find it quite difficult. What am I attached to? I think I need to look into that.
Means, do you
Or
think...
I need to think, what would I not survive without?
Yeah. I mean, it could be, are you a person that's not that attached to things and people? Okay, that's good. It might be naturally the case.
Apart from the obvious, like your family, health, making money, things like that.
So you have got attachments to a lot of the usual. I mean, those three, that could occupy your whole life, no? So you have got attachment. You kind of cancelled out your point there. Okay, fine. You're not as advanced as you thought you were. Okay, good. All right, fine. All right, so maybe go away and think about this list and think about how these things occupy the center of your heart. Figuratively, how can you shift them apart a little bit to put Krishna in the center of your life, despite your attachments? Practically, what does that mean? And ontologically, how can you see Krishna loaning you all of these floats in your life that you wanted to crowd out Krishna. Right? Do you remember when we spoke about Prabhupada saying you've got a wooden block and you've got to carve out Krishna? We've covered up Krishna with these desires that we wanted to stop us from getting darshan of Krishna. Now we're trying to create a little bit of a gap through them, figuratively, to see Krishna within it. How is that going to look for you? How do you start doing that from tomorrow, from tonight? What would that look like practically? If you're doing it, what else can you be doing? How can you be reflecting? How can you be seeing? How can you be taking darshan of reality for what it is? Yeah? Liam, you're going to share your realization, right? I just looked at you now and remembered.
Yeah, I might read it actually.
Yeah, it was long. Read it out. Oh, this is wicked. Check this out. Kushbu, you like this. Okay? No, it's good, it's good. Otherwise I wouldn't get you to read it, trust me.
Okay, yeah, so I've been meditating on the lessons from Queen Kunti and also learnings from some of Prabhupada's like more elementary books, so like not super philosophical or whatever. But in those books, he mentions a lot about obviously the suffering in this material world and that we should aspire for liberation. And obviously from what I've learned thus far, that mukti is not necessarily the end goal. So I was a little bit confused. I was like, well, like,
Why
what
the
are we
stress?
supposed to be striving towards then? But from obviously the lessons that we've been doing in our Thursday Sangha, and also just my own sort of experiences, generally like just life stresses and stuff like that. I found myself kind of like not reciting but thinking about some of the prayers that Queen Kunti had for Krishna, and started to think about like thinking of Krishna in those times of stress and actually trying to speak to Krishna in those times of stress to take away some of the stresses or take away some of the pains. And in doing so, you realize that you're thinking of Krishna more. And so I just basically had a conclusion or like a sort of a realization to a certain extent. But I'm starting to understand that life, liberated or not, is not fulfilling without Krishna, really, because you can, I suppose you can kind of like have that liberation, but if you don't have the thing that actually creates that happiness, the source of happiness and pleasure, then what's it worth? Like, nothing.
Nice. Very nice, yeah, thank you for sharing that, Liam. I know I put you on the spot. But it's, I said it was good that somebody's thinking, you're supposed to be coming to this conclusion, ultimately. And one of the benefits from listening to Prabhupada, reading Prabhupada's books, is Prabhupada is a master of us getting to the stage where we actually have a distaste for Maya. He's very, just X-ray view of what this world is. You can't really get fooled by it if you listen to Prabhupada like a lot. It constantly, it's just like, this world is just tiring, ultimately. You see the patterns, what Prabhupada's saying. Even if initially you don't, but then when you start hearing, you're like, yeah, okay. It's a hype job, you can see it, So definitely, yeah.
I read recently in one of his books that like the more imposes this mindset around, especially around like Maya, is that they see, let's say, these material attachments as blockades to them actually getting that to realization, which is not necessarily how we should kind of see our lives as well. And again, I kind of like saw some parallels between what he was talking about in terms of like that distaste for Maya, but then at the same time, I suppose like I'm not nowhere near advanced to appreciate the differences in that. We shouldn't be necessarily like seeing all these material attachments with their family, relatives, whatever, like as those blockades. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going this, but
No, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I think in and of itself, they're not blockades. We've got to use what we've wanted from Krishna to go further away from Krishna, to go back towards Krishna. At some point, we have to realize what we engineered in this lifetime is taking us away from Krishna. We got to deeply realize that we don't want this anymore. And we don't want to keep creating these samsaras life after life. That this vision of the world that I'm seeing and how I'm processing it, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to see the world as I see it anymore. Just giving up that. It's just hopeless. It's not bringing me happiness. It's sabotaging me. Unless we see that of ourselves, there's just no hope. If we're happy with the way we see the world right now in the conditioned state, there's just no humility there, right? We've got to understand this thing, this version of myself that I've crafted lifetime after lifetime is leading me astray, is creating so many repeated miseries in the name of happiness. I just don't trust myself anymore. Yeah? Until we get to that stage, then yeah, we can't really access these prayers. They don't mean so much for us. So therefore you could look at the list that we've all created at some point and think, why did I engineer this? Why am I so attached to these things? Well, we attached ourselves to these things ultimately at some point. So it is what it is, it's deeply ingrained to us, but we need to pray to Krishna, whatever I've wanted from you in the past that ultimately wanted me to make myself independent from you, I don't want it to be like that anymore.
I think in a way, the longer you live, the more you start to realise this, because as you're growing, you learn what's important to you at those different stages. When you reflect back on it, actually it wasn't really that important.
Yeah.
And in the end, for example, like friends can come and go. Kind of work you do can come and go.
Yeah.
And all of those other things. So it's kind of about, I guess, reframing how you do those things. But bearing in mind why you're doing it, and as we've been saying in the class as well, how you can link it to Krishna.
Yeah.
And think about how you can serve Krishna through doing that thing.
I think that last thing you said was important as well, because the things may change, but your mind is looking to get attached to something. And unless you give it Krishna, every decade it will just pick something else to get absorbed in, isn't it? Like you've been around for a while, right, Nish, without asking you your age. Every decade it's a different focus. Even I'm slowly getting a bit older. I can see now very clearly every 5 years it's a different focus. It's a different song. It's a different crush. It's a different hobby. It's a different job. It's a different child. It's a different club. It's just, the mind needs something, is going to grab onto something. So the aim isn't just not these, but actually what then? What is going to be substantial for me? What is going to give me that eternal joy that I'm looking for? Not any of these things.
If eventually, if you don't link properly to Krishna, then when you die, or when you're about to die and your life flashes in front of you, you might get to a point, maybe not ultimately just about before you're about to die, but in your old age you can start to look back and maybe feel a sadness, because I did all of that, but I'm not really kind of happy.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're there and you make that link to Krishna, then actually you die happy.
If you link it to Krishna, yes. If you don't link it, no. Yeah, that's what we're taught about death anyway. It's a painful process. Huh? Okay, I'm just going to carry on because, like I said, I do want to finish today. I'm attached. Hopefully that's a lighter attachment. Okay, 43. Can somebody else read this out for me? The bit in the yellow box, please.
O Krishna, O friend of Arjuna, O chief amongst the descendants of
Vrishni. Yeah, sorry.
Vrishni, you are the destroyer of the political parties, which are disturbing elements on this earth. Your prowess never deteriorates. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode, and you descend to relive the distresses of the cows, the Brahmans, and the devotees. You possess all mystic powers, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are the Almighty God, and I offer you my respectful obeisances.
So here now she's talking about the Vrishnis again, right? And she's talking about several other personalities, including the devotees too. And this is quite interesting. It seems like she's going a bit back and forth, but basically here, linked with the other verse, she's now simultaneously asking for pure love for the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. Whereas before she was taking the stance that if there's any material coating to my love for them, you take that away. Now she's saying whatever's left, let that just be pure love, not anything on a bodily platform. So in the same way, we can make this prayer for the attachment for family and friends in our life. Like, you know, they've been loaned to me. Somehow we need each other for this part of the stage, where it's good, bad and ugly. But Krishna, let me not be attached to them on a material level. Let me attach to them at the spiritual level. Let me really want their welfare, their well-being. And let they be an instrument in my well-being as well, in my realization. Yeah? So she's saying, let me see them at this level only, not at any other level. So therefore she's praying for it. And indirectly, directly and indirectly, she's praying and she's listing all the different types of people that love Krishna. And in doing this, she's offering her love and respect to all the people that are part of Krishna's family. Okay? So what have I put here? Give me 1 second. So it's been many months since I've done these slides. Let me look and see what I wrote. Purpose of Krishna's existence. Okay, so basically this is what she's saying. Everyone on earth, anyone that you've allowed to come here because of their karma, you're the one that's purifying all of them, and ultimately you want them to come back towards you. And we've covered this point before. Krishna is Jagat Guru, he's the universal teacher. And anyone who obstructs that purpose, that person or those people become a burden. So it's better for that type of person, Krishna, that you just remove them. Yeah? When the earth is complaining that there's too much of a burden on her, it's because of these elements that are stopping people's progressive march back towards the spiritual world. So those people you remove. Just like I want you to remove the element within me and my vision, similarly in the world, if anything's getting in the way of that, then you please remove them as well.
You know, even when you find a way to refocus back onto Krishna, like for example, sometimes I have things at work that can be a challenge. And at times I'm able to reframe that and think, okay, well, this challenge is given to me to grow.
Yeah.
Krishna's put that's in the way, and actually, I'm happy that I've got this. So let's reframe it, and it kind of makes it easier. But it's a bit like you know, we talk about chanting and doing your japa and how that refocuses your mind. Somehow, if you don't. If you forget how you reframed it and how you looked at it, you kind of go backwards. So you need some way of keep retuning yourself and
reminding yourself No, definitely 100%. I mean, this is why we have to read things like Bhagavad Gita every day. We have to have sadhana every day. I mean, it's good if people are coming here once a week and not doing anything in between. That's good, but sadly, that's not enough. Like, you know, we have to water that spiritual tree every single day, even if it's a few minutes. Or even if it's just a conversation with another devotee in Sangha in that way, we have to keep that going. So I don't know why this animation has turned out this way, but this is supposed to be the order. But here Queen Kunti is basically again taking shelter of the holy names, okay? And we're going to see that because this is a very interesting verse. To help with this, it would be good if all of you just look at the Sanskrit for a second, because I'm going to go through all of the different names that Queen Kunti lists for Krishna, and it's very interesting. Okay, so if you've got the Sanskrit in your book, great. If not, if you just go to verse 40, what was it again? 43. And just look at the Sanskrit for a second. It's not going to be super technical, but you'll enjoy this bit, I'm sure. Or at least I enjoyed it anyway. Okay, so firstly, Queen Kunti addresses Krishna as Sri Krishna. Up until now, it's been Krishna, Vasudevaya, Devaki, Nandanaya, etc., etc. She's thinking none of these are working. Not working, so let's go back to basics. So she employs someone in particular, and she wants to remind Krishna of that person. So she says Sri. Sri represents Radharani. Yeah, it means literally beauty. But when we talk about Sri Krishna or Sri Ram, it's referring to the female form first. So now she's referring to Radharani. So if you're not going to listen to me, please remember Radharani and then listen to me. Okay? Whenever Radharani requests anything of you, you hang around. So yeah, it's like emotional blackmail. Spiritually, emotionally blackmailing though. It's transcendental. So yeah, when Krishna doesn't listen, for us, like Prabhupada said, if Krishna, you don't feel Krishna's presence in your life, although he's always there in your life, then he said, you just take a flower and go to Radharani and go to Radharani, you please give Krishna this flower on my behalf. Yeah? Or like how we offer food, we say to Prabhupada, I'm not pure enough, you please offer on my behalf. Like that. So we go to Radharani. So Queen Kunti is thinking, you know, Damodar Leela, Yashoda bound you up, but also there was one time when Radharani bound you up. I've heard about this as well. So since I can't bind you, I'm imploring you to think of Radharani and how she bound you. She's a pure devotee, I'm also a pure devotee. So therefore she says Shri Krishna. Second thing she says is Krishna Sakha. What does Sakha mean? Sakha is not like an English term of slang, you know, like Booker T or whatever it's called. Yes, a friend. So here, this is Krishna Sakha. So what does that mean, literally, in Sanskrit? Krishna's friend, yeah, exactly. Or the friend of Krishna. But we're not looking at grammar here. Yeah, Krishna friend, if you want, okay, literally. So actually, one of the names of Arjun, I think Arjun's got 10 names. One of the names is Krishna, because he's kind of dark complexioned. So his father gave him that nickname, Krishna. So it's referring to Krishna Sakha, which means Krishna, which means Arjun's friend. Yeah? Krishna here is referring to Arjun. Yeah, some of you looking baffled. So I'm just saying, another name of Arjun is Krishna because he's dark complexioned. So Krishna Sakha means the friend of Arjun.
Isn't another name for Draupadi, Krishna?
Yeah, also as well for Draupadi, yeah. But then it wouldn't be Sakha. Sakha is like the male friend, basically, yeah. Okay, so just like, you know, whenever Arjun's in distress, my son is distressed, because you're his friend, you stay around. So Arjun, who's your friend, who you hang around through, Arjun's always got to listen to me because I'm Arjun's mother. So you should also treat me as a mother and you should hang around as well. So she's trying to pull out all the heartstrings here and all the different angles, yeah? Okay, and then after that, yeah, your favorite word here? Vrishni Rishabha. Rishabha means the best of. Like Rishabhadev, if you remember Bhagavatam, the best amongst men. Rishab, like we got Rishab in the temple staying with us as well, a student. So Rishab means the best, okay? So Vrishni Rishab means the best of all of the Vrishni dynasty. So everyone in the Yadava, and the Yadu and the Vrishni dynasty, they're all dear to me, they respect me, they come to me, they speak to me, they consider me elevated, saintly, and they listen to me. So you are also one of them, you're the best of them, you should lead by example, you should also stay and listen to me and my request for you. Yeah? So she's trying that angle too. Then next she says, ooh, who's going to go through this one? Who wants to read this one out? Who's going for it? Avni, do you want to start with your name here? No? Okay, so what does this, okay, word for word, what does Avni mean? Avni, you want to know what your, huh? Earth, yeah, okay. Drug or druk, I think it is in the word for word. What does that mean? Yeah, I think it's burden, isn't it? Yeah, so the burden of Mother Earth. And then let's say Raja. What does Raja mean? King. Right, okay. And Vamsa is like the lineage, okay, lineage of kings. And Dahana is someone who's subduing or beaten up or punishing. And then this long A means this is a second word. Anapavaga. What does Anapavaga mean? What does that say in your word for word?
It says without deterioration.
Yeah, okay, without deterioration. And Vidya? Yeah, heroic, strong, courageous, okay? So altogether, this is basically saying, if you could take away the distress of Mother Earth because of these kings in this lineage, okay, then why can't you also come and take away my distress because I'm also a woman, just like Mother Earth is. If you remember, Mother Earth comes, she takes Brahma and Shiva and all the demigods and they plead that there's too many demoniac kings born into these lineages and they're creating a great burden, so you please come and you deliver me from this burden. So you came from Mother Earth, hence like this long term there. So if you come from Mother Earth, you came for one mother, why don't you come for this mother? Again, a similar theme that she's mentioned in the past as well. Okay, okay, we're coming to the ends. Okay, another word she's using Govinda. So obviously we've heard of Govinda before. In this context, Aravinda means to give pleasure, to give happiness, to give satisfaction. Go here is referring to one who prays. So go can mean many, many different things. Go can remind you of the Goswamis, like the Brahmanas as well. So here go is referring to prayers. What is that, a duck or something? It's a what? Oh, I got my birds mixed up there, huh? Duck. Okay, anyway. Ducks all quack, quack, right? I've forgotten about that, okay. So Govinda, because you please and give satisfaction to people who pray for you, I've also given you all of these prayers. Why aren't you satisfying me? Yeah, so in that way she's calling out Govinda. Next one here. Okay. Go. What else can go mean? I just said it a second ago.
Cow.
No, I didn't say cow a second ago. Goswamis, yeah, Brahmanas. Well remembered. Good, you corrected yourself. That was fast, huh? It's almost like you're learning from Smith, but Smith's not here. Okay. Brahmanas, or Dvija means the Brahmanas. Sorry, go can mean here. So in this context, sorry, you're right. Go means cow. Dvija here means Brahmanas. Sura and Asura. What does Asura mean? Demons. So Sura means? Yeah, demigods, right? And Hara of Avatar. So Avatar means one who descends for a purpose. Hara means to take away, to steal. And Arti, what does Arti mean? Yeah, not Arati as in like worship, but what else does it mean? You can look it up in your word for word as well if you want to. Is it there? It should be there, right? Yeah, so basically steal away distress. So Arti here can mean also distress, okay? So you've come here away to take away the distress. So you've come here specifically, you've come down, Avatar, to take away the distress of the demigods, the Brahmanas and the cows. Yeah? So what here she's saying, Queen Kunti is saying, you've basically come here to take distress of people higher than me. Who are the people higher than her she's envisioning? The demigods and the Brahmanas. And also of entities lower than me, because you're Govinda, you give pleasure to the cows. So if you take away distress of people higher than me and lower than me, why not also me? Yeah? So she's been quite smart in that way as well. Okay, and then the next one. Yogeshwara. What does Yogeshwara mean? This is yoga, right? And Ishwara means the master. So the master of all mystics, or the master of all yogis, is Yogeshwara. So Krishna is given the name Yogeshwara. Shiva is also given the name Yogeshwara as well. Yoga means connection. Like, you know, when we went to yoga pits in Mayapur, yoga means the place where the Lord connects with earth. Okay? So because yoga means connection, and you're the master of all people that come and connect, therefore you should come here and stay with me. Yeah, so yeah, that's, I mean, we're beating the same like drum over and over, but basically she's just saying it. Anyway, I thought this was impressive, just me. No problem. You might not be on that level. Okay, Akila Guru. What does Akila mean again?
Universal.
Yeah, universe, and Guru is teacher. So you're the teacher, you're the Guru of the universe. Every Guru has disciples. I'm your disciple. Therefore, you should stay for the benefit of your disciple. And I think there's one more, isn't it? Yeah, Bhagavan. Bhagavan is God, you're the Supreme Lord. And in the same way, I'm your devotee. So you shouldn't leave one who's devoted to you. So can you see in a very artistic way, she's addressing Krishna in so many names. You know how we did the Krishna Vasudevaya? And we broke it down. In the same way, Queen Kunti is addressing Krishna in so many ways, trying one last attempt to plead to Krishna for all of these reasons, unlimited ways she could address Krishna, you should stay. Yeah? So she's doing it in a coded way.
It's quite heavy. Like, she's gone in hard, isn't she?
She's gone in hard, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay, where this is the last slide. So this is kind of like the epilogue. It's a comment on what she's mentioned before. Can someone read out 44 for me?
Suta Goswami said, the Lord, for hearing the prayers of Kunti Devi, composed him choice of words for his glorification, mildly smiled. That smile was as enchanting as his mystic power.
So, she's been pleading to Krishna, don't leave. And Krishna smiles and he's thinking about going anyway. So sometimes it's like that. When we pray, Krishna doesn't change his decision, but he smiles. It seems like Krishna didn't hear the requests, and sometimes it seems like that when we pray to Krishna as well. So Krishna's smiling, not saying anything, not saying yes or no, but he is going to leave anyway. We find out later on in the chapter. because he is about to leave, and it's not until Yudhisthira comes and says stay, then he actually feels like he should stay. So this is quite reflective on our journey as well. Let me see what I've written here. Yeah, because sometimes when we pray, it seems like nothing happens, life goes on, the difficulties might go on. But just like Queen Kunti, those who are sincere don't necessarily expect anything to change or any miracles in their life. They plead for it, they beg for it. At the same time, they know Krishna, he's supremely independent to do whatever he wants to. But they know that Krishna always hears. So what they tend to do is they go inward, they try to listen to what Krishna is saying in their heart, and by doing that, they feel healing. Sometimes we think healing will only come if there's changes externally. Queen Kunti here is pleading for things externally, but going deeper and deeper internally in a relationship with Krishna, and that's healing everything. That's illuminating everything. That's going deeper and deeper into her understanding and her prayers. So, what's happening here? What did I write here? How they're truly sincere. Okay, we spoke about that. What's the next one here? Okay, so in the silence, Krishna speaks, Krishna heals, Krishna soothes. Krishna accepting our prayers is actually the miracle, because we're not really qualified to interact with Krishna. So just Krishna hearing them. And the most beautiful part of Krishna is his face. The most beautiful part of that face is his smile. Srila Prabhupada said, if you make Krishna smile just once in this lifetime, your life is successful. You might just think, well, why? Nothing's changed. But don't worry about that. It's just a matter of time before things change completely. We're not looking for material world to change for us. Remember I said, we're not trying to win the race how we think we should win the race. Winning the race means getting out the race world. Yeah? That's when we start desiring that and praying for that, and we might even plead to Krishna, if these things change, surely this would work for me. But at the same time, Krishna, you know better than me. When we go in with that mood, then Krishna starts smiling. If we can make Krishna smile, then our life becomes successful. So having Krishna smile at us is the essence of everything. That's ultimately what Krishna consciousness will come down to. Okay. So can someone read out this from, I think it's from the purport. I forgot to write that, but yeah, go for it. Can someone read this out?
No amount of chosen words is sufficient to enumerate the Lord's glory, and yet he is satisfied by such prayers as the Father is satisfied even by the broken linguistic attempts of the growing child.
So there's nothing really we could say, especially when we're not that learned or that, especially, forget learned, but pure, devoted. It's like a child who's not mastered the English language or whatever language it is, trying to communicate with the parents or whoever, and it's just broken words at best. They're trying their best, they want to do their best, but they're limited by their lack of knowledge, lack of realization. Our prayers are a little bit like that, but in the same way, despite just being broken words, the parents are pleased and they smile, and they think, this kid's dumb, doesn't know anything, but anyway, it's charming, right? So Queen Kunti is charming Krishna through her efforts, and Krishna's pleased. So even though it seems like at the start it was all about Queen Kunti trying to keep Krishna in Hastinapur, that was the objective. That's not the actual objective. The objective is bhakti, love and devotion, which is fluid. Remember how Queen Kunti is praying? Twayi me nanya vishaya. Just let my consciousness, my love flow to you, whatever the obstacle. That is actually the goal. The obstacles is just part of the leela. Yeah, Bhavit.
In essence, Krishna could, in theory, expand himself and say, yeah, he's one of me, as he did with the gopis or many wives. But is he offering love in separation to Kunti? So she remembers him up to the point of death.
So these two things are there, always. Love in union, love in separation. That's the dynamic of love, definitely. So even within Queen Kunti, not just the gopis, there'll be the same thing as well. So even in the Bhagavatam, you'll see, yes, there's separation here. Later, she sees him again. In the spiritual world, though, then they'll be there always. But it's just the nature of things in the material world. Yeah? Okay, so, my friends, we've finally got to the end. Slide 129. Unbelievable. You cannot tell by my face how euphoric I'm feeling. I'm containing it. Okay? But the reason why I thought I might come late, because I thought I'd add this slide in. I wanted to spend more time on this, but I think we've run out of time, unfortunately. So that's why I was kind of weighing up whether we should have done the early exercise or not. we've covered many themes over these last few months since January up until now. And maybe we could do another session just on a bit of a recap and your reflections and realizations. Initially what I had in mind is we'd have 10 minutes and I could give you each a massive sheet of paper, and in groups of 4 or 5 you could do a spider diagram of different sections of Queen Kunti's prayers that we've gone through that's meant the most for you, and you could write down your thoughts, your memories and your reflections. Maybe it's something we could do in a future session as well. But just to very quickly go through it, we started off with the 9 limbs of bhakti. One of the ones that doesn't rely on anyone else is vandanam, which is prayer. You could pray in your own way, anyone could pray, even an atheist can pray. There's no barrier to praying, we should all pray and pray more. This is kind of in the order that we taught it or you read it. Then we spoke about who Queen Kunti was, her background, her first son, and then all the other children she had and all the calamities they faced, all the assassination attempts they went through, all the difficulties. Therefore Queen Kunti, despite that, is praying in this way. And that's how we should learn, because in this life we'll go through many difficulties. How should we pray? We pray according to our conditioning. To break through that, we have to see what a pure devotee prays for and why. Okay? Do you remember I was saying, even the way you pray dictates what happens to you spiritually. So we have to learn what it means to pray, how to pray, how do the pure devotees pray, and why they pray that way. We spoke off by talking about the doorway to understanding Krishna is to know how great Krishna is. So Krishna is a person, but actually who is Krishna beyond this lovable personality as well. Despite that, he remains invisible to the foolish people. There are people that can see him. Who can remember the 3 people again? 3 categories? Okay, Liam, you're trying to subtly do this. You can't remember, huh? Who is it? Yeah, you got that same answer. Add to that other answer. Okay. Huh? We're saying it in the same order as last time, I remember. Yeah? And someone other than Liam, so we got Paramahamsas, Munis, and... Yeah. Huh? Yeah, go on, you said it. Amal Latma, right? Means the pure-hearted, okay? But Krishna is also visible to Queen Kunti, who's the most humble, even out of those ones, okay? So these are the people that could get darshan of Krishna, that could see Krishna, maybe even speak to Krishna. So she starts off with Krishnaya Vasudevaya, Devaki Nandanaya, so Sankirtan, chanting the holy names. This is how firstly we're humble, and then the practice is the chanting of the holy names. From the holy names, everything will come, and the first thing that will come is the form of Krishna. So not just as we see Krishna in the deity form, but actually Krishna will reveal himself in the deity form and also away from the deity form as well. The purer we get. Of the different parts of the deity, we focus initially on the feet. The feet are very beautiful, we cover that later, but the feet means you grab onto the feet for shelter. The feet are like a boat. So Queen Kunti starts thinking, after getting meditating on different parts of Krishna, how Krishna has saved me in my life in so many ways. The ways that he visibly saved me, but even the times when he seemed he wasn't in the picture, it was Krishna only that saved me. That's what it means to have darshan of Krishna's feet. He's kept us afloat all of these times. If you don't see that, you don't even have darshan of Krishna's feet when you see the deity. Yeah? Makes sense? So if you remember, Krishna's feet is like a lotus. The lotus is in the water but doesn't get submerged by the water. Similarly, anyone who's drowning in the water of samsara grabs Krishna's feet, they stay afloat. Yeah? Then after that, she goes deeper and sees Krishna's hand behind all the dots in all the events, how she's been protected by him. And she ends up taking darshan of Krishna in difficulties and says, actually, rather than having a trouble-free life, I'd rather have difficulties, because when there was difficulties, I clung on to you. And when I clung on to you, I got to see you in one way or another. Yep. Distress, then we spoke about distress and why it's essential in devotion. We spoke about distress in immature devotees. I gave you the example of the sugar cane going through the machine and getting grinded and you get amrita, nectar. And we spoke about the other example in mature devotees of the child being thrown up by the adult and caught. So actually distress is part of the leela even in a pure devotee. But when the child's been thrown up by the parent, they're scared the first time, the second time, then they actually voluntarily go up to the parent and say, throw me up some more times. Yeah? Then we spoke about Janme Shwarya Shuta Shibir, the 4 pillars of material life Srila Prabhupada taught us. One who's intoxicated by these 4 pillars, they can't call out Krishna's name with affection. So therefore you have to be a kinchana gochanam. materially exhausted. And we spoke a bit about what that is. It's not just about not having these things in this life. Queen Kunti had those 4 things, but saw through them. And in that way, she got exhausted. Then we had a review of all of the different qualities up until then that Queen Kunti had displayed in her prayers and personality. We spoke about humility being the digestive enzyme, because one of the words or one of the terms she directed at Krishna is Jagat Guru, Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru, which means the guru of the universe. How is he giving teaching to everyone? We spoke about how people nowadays say love and light, or give you healing in that way. Krishna's given healing, purification to everyone through difficulties in this world, bitter medicine. But you could only understand its medicine, and you can only improve with it, with those lashings, if you have humility. In the same way, when you eat lots of things, if your digestive enzymes don't work, the same thing that will give you nourishment becomes toxic. So all of these things should be making us more grounded, more humble, more devotional, if we enjoy it with humility. If we don't, it makes us toxic up here. Yeah? Then we spoke about, Queen Kunti goes on to say, the reason why many people don't understand Krishna is because they don't understand the reason for him descending and taking part in his leelas, and there's many misconceptions. We went through this for a few slides and a few verses. That was finished with Queen Kunti talking about, therefore, hearing and repeating and chanting and singing and enjoying other people doing those things. We have to do these 4 things for us to get darshan of Krishna. We spoke about who is taking darshan of who. So we are to be seen, Krishna is the seer. When we don't understand that, we think we are the seer and this world is to be seen by us, and we take darshan of other people in this world, and we want other people to take darshan of us, and that's how we get captivated and ensnared by this world. When we go in front of Krishna, we should understand I'm taking darshan of Krishna initially, but actually Krishna is taking darshan of me and all the faults in me, and I want him to glance at the faults in me, because I know he could create good habits, he can maintain good habits, he could destroy bad habits. So I should be in this world looking for Krishna's darshan and nobody else's darshan. And even amongst all the floats, I should be looking for Krishna through that float. Yeah? Then we spoke about the 6 components of surrender. Sorry, I spelled that incorrectly. And then we spent some time looking at Krishna's left foot and right foot literally, and the different symbols on those feet and what they meant. And then lastly, and a continuation of today, we looked at how Queen Kunti is examining all the attachments in her heart and thinking, is my heart purely a sitting place for you, or is it a divided heart? And maybe one of the things is, now on reflection, my love for the Pandavas is stopping you and your love for your devotees. And maybe there's something material in that. In the same way, when we've been practicing bhakti for a while or intensely, we look at the motives, we look at our refined motives and dissect into that and think, is there any material component within that? Because if there is, Krishna, I'm giving you permission to take that away or use it in my journey of bhakti to you. But my journey of bhakti to you should be like the Ganga that flows to you. Whether there's obstacles or not, the main thing is it flows to you always, no matter what happens in life. And therefore, we have finished. Hare Krishna.